Hey everybody, James here. Let's see if I can get a few people to come in. And I wanted to share with you today about how I made 3K passively yesterday. So it's a long story, but I want to try and keep it as short as possible. Hey Shane, what's up? So again, my topic is how I made 3K yesterday passively. Um, So, this has been a long process to get me to something that may, happen very quickly overnight. But you'll get the point when I get to it. Number one, the first thing that I like to convey to people is that they don't necessarily understand money. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying people don't know how to save. It's not that people don't know how to invest. It's that a lot of people don't understand truly what money is. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an expert in that, but like, for example, the US dollar is basically like printed like crazy, okay? And it's not backed by anything. A lot of people think it's backed by gold. It's literally backed by nothing. So you just assume it has value because that's that's what you know, right? When you go to the store, when you go to McDonald's and you want to buy something, you have to give them money, right? That's just how it is. That's just how we're brought up. You can't go to someone with a piece of gold and try and buy, something at a store. They'll look at you kind of funny, even though gold obviously has value. So, a few years ago, I I'm always looking into things. Not just a few years ago, but I want to say about 10 years ago, I used to look into something. I think it was called eGold, which was like a digital cash. And the problem with that particular premise was that you could double spend. In other words, if I gave you some of this eGold, someone else could, and I forget that if that was the exact name of it, but I could give you some of that, but somebody else could spend it, right? So it's like if I gave you $5 and you started putting it on the copy machine, after a while it's not worth anything because it's copied. So maybe right around 7 years ago, I heard about this thing called Bitcoin, and it was selling for about $5 a coin, and I dismissed it because I thought it was another one of these kind of e-golds, and that was my first mistake. Just didn't give it a chance. Then all of a sudden, I knew about it, but years later, it was worth. Even 2013, it was worth roughly $1,000 when I saw it next, and I knew, okay, well, I need to pay attention to this. But I thought $1,000 was way too much for me to get in at that point. And but I was aware of it, and I was going to learn about it. And since that point, since 2013, I am. Hey, what's going on, Jeremy? And Jeremy can tell you, and he's sick of me talking about it. But I talk about and learn about cryptocurrencies every single day since 2013. So once the price of it, Bitcoin specifically, and if you're not familiar with Bitcoin, basically the let's put it this way. Somebody asked me what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin, I would say the easiest definition I have is it's digital money. So I can give money to someone anywhere in the world without a third party intermediary. I don't need to have a bank say it's okay. I don't have to use PayPal. Now, if you're in a first world country like the United States, Canada, UK, Australia, that doesn't seem like a big deal. But when you start when you start to understand the power of this, and when you start thinking about countries like Venezuela, countries like China that purposely devalue their currency, when you look at countries like India, who just several days ago got rid of different denominations of dollars. I don't know what their currency is called, but basically like their 200 note and their 500 note, the government said within 4 hours, those are no good anymore. Can you imagine if that happened in the United States? If they just said, all of a sudden $100 bills are no good, and you have 4 hours, and after that, too bad. Okay, that's happening around the world. In those countries I mentioned, you look at Argentina, the list goes on and on and on. When I first started thinking about Bitcoin, I thought of it as, okay, this is a great way to send money. I could have $10,000 on a flash drive, and just take that anywhere I want, and I have that amount of money. Imagine trying to take $10,000 through the airport. You can't. Over 10,000. Either you can't, or they're going to question you. It's a problem. Bitcoin, you can't. Now, I thought that was one of the best use cases, was just in terms of sending money. I thought the next use case was for remittances. So when you think of people like from the Philippines, from some of these other countries, from Mexico, that they work in these other countries and they send a lot of money home, they use something like Western Union that they can send the money back to their home country. Well, they get charged 10%, sometimes much more than that, just to send their money home. It can be exorbitant, the amount of money. Well, Bitcoin, there's basically no transaction fee. But really the power of it, lately that I see it, is that there's these it's not my term, but the term I've heard is currency wars, where, like I said, with what they're doing in India, what they're doing in some of these other countries, they're just taking people's money and they're devaluing it, right? And some people think of it in the U.S. as just inflation, right? You can't buy a loaf of bread for what you could buy it 30 years ago, and you just think that's just how it is. It's because your money is becoming worth less and less and less. Well, with Bitcoin and with some other digital currencies, specifically Bitcoin's kind of like the first to market, so it's got the name recognition, right? A lot of people have heard of Bitcoin, but they've never used it. They don't really fully understand it. And one of the guys that I follow that knows a lot about Bitcoin, his name was Andreas Antonopoulos. He's from Greece. Well, he said, if people ask him what a Bitcoin is, well, he wrote a book on it. It's 200 pages long, and as soon as he put it out, it already needed to be revised because Bitcoin's changing so quickly. So like I said, it's something that I've been trying to understand and following for a good 4 years now, and I learn stuff all the time. Well, started to buy it when it was $600. I started to buy it. I kept buying it as it went down, and people are laughing at me like, "What are you doing? You're just throwing your money away, You're buying it at 600, buying it at 500. I was buying it at 200, and people are just like, "You're just throwing your money away." And I just believed in it so much. And lately, it's just been tearing up. So, yesterday I made close to $3,000. Today I've made almost similar. I mean, in November it was $700 roughly a coin, $750. Now as of this time I set this up, it's like $1,100. And with the amount of coins that I now have, it exponentially grows. So my point is this: I'm not saying you need to buy a Bitcoin because they're $1,100 each at this point, but start to learn about it. Start to learn about cryptocurrencies. Start to understand it, because I think it's going to be a big, big deal. It already is to a lot of people. And so, if you're looking at things to invest, and you have some, $20 here, $50 there, whatever, buy some. Because I think in 4 or 5 years it's going to be kind of mainstream. And then, when your grandma is talking about it, it's too late, right? You want to know about it. And if you're an internet marketer and you're watching this, you're probably in the know more than a lot of people, but it's still so young. It's like the internet 1994 with these kind of cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin is the one I focus on, so what a lot of people know about, but there's so many others. There's a good website to go to is coinmarketcap.com. coinmarketcap.com, which will show you a list of some of the cryptocurrencies, and you go there and you just see this, this currency just went up 20% today. This one went down 30%. This one went up 10%. It's just crazy numbers, like with one of the mutual funds I have, if it goes up 10% in a year, I'm happy. Bitcoin went up 10% yesterday. Okay? Those are the kind of numbers we're talking about. That's how I was able to generate $3,000 in one day by doing nothing yesterday, but it's been something, a process that I felt more and more comfortable with. The point of my video today is to tell you that I did really well yesterday for at least a year. I lost money every month. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin tomorrow is not going to go down, right? Don't put all your money in it, but look into it, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. I want you, if you're watching this video, I want you to know about it so that you can look at, and so thank you for that comment about, is this the tipping point? So the all-time high, and it's debatable what the all-time high is for several reasons, but The all-time high was passed today in terms of the Chinese exchanges, which are the Chinese are that pump a lot of money into this. That all-time high has been reached. In terms of the U.S. all-time high, people debate what that is, but it's a lot of people say if it hits over 1,200, now we're talking about the all-time high. Once it does that, I think it's going to go even further. But again, it could go to $2,000 in a month, but it could then crash down to 800. That's the kind of thing. It's really, really up and down. So you want to be. That's why I'm saying if you have a little money here and there, check it out. But if you're talking about things that could go up 10 times in value, which is what I want to look for rather than a mutual fund that's going to get me 10% a year, cryptocurrencies have that potential. Okay, one of the cryptocurrencies this year, Monero, has gone up 40 times, 40x. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I'm not getting that with my mutual fund. Others go down. So you have to learn. You have to become knowledgeable. But the point is, I want to put it in your head. If you've never looked at it, if you've never thought about it, do so that you can make your own informed decision. And then, I don't want you to be here 5 years from now saying that you never even heard about it. I want to be someone that tells you about it so that you can look into it yourself and make your own informed decision. But look into cryptocurrencies, look into Bitcoin, and become informed. And I think it's going to disrupt a lot of industries. And once you kind of go down that rabbit hole and you start to learn about it, you just open up your mind. But it's difficult for some people to try and get their hands around how money actually works, because it's kind of scary sometimes when you realize what it is and what it isn't. So hopefully you got some value out of this. And also I wanted to mention that I have a group that I created. And a couple of you guys are in this group, where I go through a lot of stuff that's working for me, go over advanced strategies. We just had an accountability call yesterday for an hour, which was awesome. If you want to be part of that group, PM me and I'll talk to you about it. But thank you so much, everybody, for being on this live call. And if you like it, subscribe to me because there'll be more to come. Thanks.